Alright guys, we're going to fix a puncture on our Razor E200. It's on the back tyre here, so a couple of things you're going to need: puncture repair kit, some vice grips and some other, like a spanner or whatever. First thing, you may have to undo your nuts and bolts, but I've Velcroed these, so it's easy for me to get in to do batteries and things like that. So first thing we're going to do is loosen off the axle. So that's anti-clockwise to loosen. Alright, so I've got the grippies to hold the other side. You can use two crescents if you got them. Nice and loose. Alright. Then I loosen off the chain tensioners, just so I can get them off, like that. Like that. Next thing I'm going to do is flick the chain off, like that. And I think this is the model I've got to undo one side completely. So everything you take off, put in its little sequence, so you know there's that bit, and there's that bit. This side here, same. If you're undoing the shaft, you may have to hold the other end, stop it from turning. Sequence, like that. Shaft pops out. Under there's some spaces that go between this part here and the brake. There's a little shim, and then there's a washer. Same on this side, it's just the shim is a lot longer. And then there's that washer. The shim will go in there like that. Then you should be able to just gently swing that down, pull the wheel out. That's it, like that. Those shims fit in there. Short one on the side, long one on the side. If you want to get a shot looking down, you can see parts. Okay. What we need now, something to undo those keys. Stay there, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Guessing maybe this one. Undoing, of course, anti-clockwise. That way. Right. Little spring washer. Wash out. might be able to get your fingers down in there and just turn it by hand. If you can't, you just have to do it the long way. Might be able to get in there like that. Yes, I can. Whoop, and that's the big one in the middle. Let's pull it off and have a look, see what's happened. Remembering to keep everything in its little sequence. Had a puncture before by the looks. We'll soon find out where it's leaking. A few pumps of air in it. Oh, there. But what we are going to do is just get it wet over here in the sink, just to make sure. So come over to the sink. A little bit of water in the sink, and be able to see where the bubble's coming out of, and that will tell us exactly where the puncture is. Right by the valve, where we thought it was, and it looks like it's the only one. Okey-dokey. What we're going to do now, let's give that a little dry off. Old dirt in there. Just going to rub that off. Can't be too pleasant on the inside. Right, so you can see our split. It's quite a big one. It's right there. So what we're going to do is put a patch on that. What I do is I get a bit of sandpaper and I sand the whole area, rough it up. You see how that's got a little bit of a rib there from the thing? It's very close to the puncture. There's the puncture and there's that bit of ribbing. So what I want to do is actually try and sand most of that away so I get a nice flat surface. So I'm just going to pinch that up there like that. I'll just get a bigger piece of sandpaper. Hold on. taken away most of that sort of that lip that was there. Just so that the when the wee puncture patch goes on there, it's got a nice area to adhere to that doesn't have a bit of that manufacturing line right beside it, because it might not seal properly. So, glue. And we'll choose a round one. Where are we? There. Glue around the whole area there like that. Just leave that to dry for, it's normally about 60 seconds or something like that. Let's have a look. Until touch dry. Okay, so we peel off the backing of our little puncture repair. Don't put your fingers in the middle of it. That looks pretty good. Then we just put that over the top of it like that, press it down. And this is where I take the rest of the air out of the tyre, just so just anything to push the valve. Push it down really firmly. So you get a really good seal. Put it on the ground. Make sure you got all the little bubbles out. Yeehaw, done. That was a little washer that went around on the inside, so I'll put that back on there like that. Okay, back to the fun part. You can test it now if you want to. I'm not going to bother because I know I've got it. So what we're going to do is that goes through there like that. So we're just going to put the tiniest little amount of air in it, just so it's not sucked up like that. This tyre needs replaced anyway, but we don't have one. Probably a little bit too much here and there now. A bit more out there. Okay. Now you just got to gently get this to go back in. Just got to stuff that in there. Like so. Okay, that's just a little, keeps falling off, but that's to go there to protect the valve. Right, that's the hole for the wee thing to go in. That's the other side of the rim. Trick for new players. It's that way. Because you've got to be able to blow this up through the sprocket. Okay, that's right. That's the little centre bearing that goes between the two. You want to make sure that's lined up, so just drop your shaft in like that. And then what I'm doing is I'm just twisting that to get the holes to line up, this little centres, for our bolts to go back in. Okay, so here's our bolts. Even to that other Allen key, man. You're sitting on it. Like that. Ah, here it is. There's a hole in there like that. If you've got access from the top, you can use your long Allen to go down. And you just don't want to do it up too tight for a start because you don't want to pinch anything. Right, a couple of pumps of air in there would probably be a good thing, just to make sure that it's not pinched. Get your little adapter, screw your adapter on, making sure you don't cross thread it. Okay, just enough to give it a little bit, and just feel that. Just want to give it a wee roll around, make sure it's not pinched anywhere. Feels good. Now you can rest assured and tighten up those Allen keys that hold the two halves of the rim together. That and that and that. Rightio. Now we used the shaft in there just so we had that central bush in place. Ties on that side. Move everything out of the way. Right, next thing. Okay. Got a few things to do here and to get in place. First thing we need to do is to get that bush back in. So that bush is going to have to go in there like that. This will be a good time to start putting the bits and pieces on. So what we have here is one for the outside and then one goes that way. This is a bit of a fiddly operation. Whoops. As you can see, it is a little bit fiddly. You have to have a bit of patience. can start by putting the shaft. This is another way of doing it. Let's just do it that way. Like this. Okay, holding those bits like that, sliding it in. Ensure the shaft is just getting up into the right spot. There it goes. Now, if you look at through the top, what we have to do is get that on the right side for a start. The next thing we have to do is put that shaft on there. You can use the bolt to help move things around to get things where you want them to go. Right, so if you have a look around this side, big opening, got a shaft that's got to go on there, a bush that's got to go in there. So what we're going to do, just going to move that forward a wee bit. If you have a look there now, you can see the shaft just poking through. There it is there, so I'm just going to put that shaft on there like that. Give it a bit of a wiggle. And a wee bit of a push. Alright. Don't just do it too far of the shaft. Couple of taps, just get them to go backwards. We tap. Right. I'm doing this without taking the brake assembly off. Now you can do it that way, makes it a lot easier, but I just don't want to do it that way. Just put those on just to hold it roughly in spot. Okay. Next thing we need to do is just push that and get the chain over. Even if you just put it on the sprocket side, it doesn't actually have to go on at this moment in time, because that can just be more aggravation than it's worth. Just let that sit there like that. Rightio. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put on the thick washer. So that's the one that goes on there. Now just tap that just past till it's flush, so that you can just pop that past that bar there. This saves taking off all of the brake drum and all the rest of it. And then we slide that down into position. You might have to come around this side a bit to see what we're doing. We just push that shaft up a little bit like that, and that comes through, and there we go. Just fiddling around with that to get that sitting in position. Now we've got a spacer on, so we put our washer on, which is our thin washer on the outside. The fat washer was on the inside. A little chain tensioner. And just put that in place there like that. Now we're going to flick our chain on. And just move it around like that. And it'll just honk on like that. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to tighten this up by hand. Because we need to readjust our chain. You don't want to have it so tight, you don't want to have it loose either. So, something to hold that side. I just use vice grips because I use it to help hold the shaft, as you saw earlier, all sorts of things. I find it quite good. What I'm doing now is I'm just getting it to a stage where it's just firm. Okay? Then you just push it all forward. Perhaps a little bit firmer than that, because then we're going to do the adjustment of the chain. So, we just want this to be like just finger tight. Right, now you can see the chain's really loose. It's way too loose. So, in order to tighten up our chain, just adjust our wrench or get the right size spanner if you wish. Right, so that's really loose still. As I turn this clockwise, it's tightening it. Keep checking it. Now you want a little bit of slack. Remember to do these up evenly too, so that your wheel is tracking true. You can do that, check that by just having a wee look. The way the chain's going onto the sprocket looks really good. It's probably a little bit on the tight side, so I'll back off both sides just a tiny wee bit. Got to have a little bit of loose slack, because if you see that, just that little bit like that, otherwise it can put just too much stress on the chain. Then we're just going to nip this up, check our chain, see it's got that little bit of slack there. That's done, that's done. All that remains now is to pump the tyre up. So, remember how that goes? Get the wee fitting, wind them on there, like that. And I would say about 30 pounds seems about pretty good. Don't forget to take that off. Recheck your chain, it's got a little bit of loose on it. Everything's tight. You've got no parts left over. Then what I would recommend is a little tiny bit of oil on the chain, and you are done and dusted. Cheers.
Hi, if you thought the video was great, can you please like it and subscribe? That'd be very much appreciated. And thanks for your support. Cheers.